Welcome to another Get Legit webinar, Farm Roots, Market Reach, Brand Basics for Growers with Bia Navarro. Today is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. My name is Erin. I am the Education and Communications Manager here at the Cannabis Alliance. I'd like to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. It is our hope that anyone interested in commercial cannabis here in Nevada County will take the time to tune into these webinars, educate themselves, and become or become stewards of the environment and of our community. Excuse me. The Get Legit educational series provides the preparation necessary to assist in securing a local cultivation permit and state cultivation license. The series includes webinars, support groups, business skills trainings, and a mentor program. All Get Legit webinars are online, free of charge, and they are open to the public. So, what is the Alliance? We are a nonprofit trade association that represents the local cannabis community here in Nevada County. Our mission is to support public policy initiatives through representative advocacy, provide educational opportunities, and create space for connection within the industry and the greater community. Some services that we provide to our members are a consistent voice and representation locally and at the statewide level, monthly educational webinars to assist with the permitting and licensing process, a buddy program to pair permitted farmers with new farmers, a Slack online hub for resource sharing and local policy updates, as well as seasonal supply chain mixers and events that we do throughout the year. Also, right now, the Good to Grow grants, or also known as the equity grants, the application is open until October 30th, and the Alliance is offering support sessions for those that want to apply for the grant and just need some assistance and some guidance through the process. So you can contact us at 530-264-7376 to make an appointment and come in sometime Tuesday through Thursday. Please do so. We only have about a week left for that, and it's the deadline's coming up. So how you can stay in touch, you can become a member of the Alliance. If you are a licensed or permitted farmer, we have multiple member levels that you can join at. And you can visit our website at nccannabisalliance.org/membership. We also just added a new membership level for community membership. The membership is $25 for the year. It's for non-licensed and non-permitted community members. So you don't have a farm, you're not licensed or permitted, but you want to support the cannabis community in some way. The $25 a year allows you to attend our events, our members only events. You can build relationships and network with folks in the cannabis community, stay informed with policy updates, and then join forces to strengthen our licensed cannabis community here in Nevada County. It's a great opportunity, and we would love to have members of our community join as our community membership. You can also become a sponsor if you are a business in Nevada County or beyond that benefits from the cannabis industry or would like to network more within the cannabis industry here in Nevada County. Becoming a sponsor is a great way to do so. You can visit our website at nccannabisalliance.org/sponsorship. I will link all these in the chat as well. You can follow us on Facebook at Nevada County Alliance, and it's the same on Instagram at Nevada County Alliance. We have a bi-monthly newsletter that has all of our policy updates and events and things we have going on in the cannabis world. You can visit the website to subscribe. It's again nccannabisalliance.org/subscribe. You can just go to our website and peruse all around and click on all the things that you want and join as a member, subscribe in our newsletter, find ways to connect with us. And again, I'll link all of those in the chat. So we have another Get Legit webinar coming up. It's actually a webinar series. It's Cannabis Farming Basics for the Home Grower, and it will be with speaker and presenter Daniel Fink, owner of Down Ohm Farms. Part 1 is happening in a couple of weeks on November 6th. It will be about germination, genetics, and garden prep. Part 2 is January 8th. That will include soil health, nutrition, and pest control. And then part 3, which is on March 5th, drying, curing, and storing your harvest. So whether you're new to growing or you want to sharpen your skills, the series is packed with insider knowledge for the home grower. Mark your calendars, and I will link in the chat how you can register for the November 6th part 1 of the series. I want to give a shout out to our allied industry business sponsors, Ag Natural, Cramner Engineering, Plan Air Landscape Architecture, Humboldt Seed Company, Mr. B's Green Trees, Gold Coast Botanicals, and Elevation 2477. We could not do this work without you. We greatly appreciate your support. Many of you have been with us for a very long time, and we appreciate your longstanding membership with us. So the format of today's webinar is a presentation followed by a Q&A. Bia Navarro will give that presentation, and we will have the Q&A at the very end. Your participation is encouraged. The chat section and Q&A are there for you to use and ask any questions that you may have to make this webinar more useful for everyone. The webinar is being recorded and is going to be available on our website at nccannabisalliance.org/getlegit. And that is it. That's all I have. Bia, welcome, and thank you so much for being here and joining us. And I'd like to pass it along to you to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Erin. Thank you, Alliance. I cannot speak enough about this association who has been helping so many, and I am stoked to be here. I cannot wait to get to talk about, how we navigate to this world of cannabis that has been changing so much through these years. My name is Bia Navarro. I'm well known as a ganja housewife. I have been in cannabis industry, let's say, for until before the industry. Let me know if you guys can see my screen over here that I'm sharing. This is my logo, Ganja Housewife. We can talk about that a little bit later. How do I got to the point to find a logo that I fall in love with? And it represents myself and represents what I like to do. So today we're going to talk a little bit, introduction about who I am, what I do, how I fall over here, a little bit my trajectory with cannabis, what is brand versus marketing, the key components of a brand, why branding is so important, how to connect others to your brand, and how to organize your long-term strategy and reach your goals, and how to reach new audiences. It's going to be fun. I cannot wait to talk about this. My name is Bia Navarro. I am originally from Brazil. I have been living in California for the last 15 years. I'm a mom. I'm a partner. I go by Ganja Housewife. I am an event planner. I am a soccer coach. I'm a singer and percussionist, and I'm a culture barrier breaker. I have been in cannabis, let's say, since forever. I would say my first contact, like in Brazil, probably when I was my 13th, 14th, it was something very bad back then. I was seen as one of the lost girls, right? The girl who is going to start a life super early and is going to finish super early as well, because the lettuce devil, right? It would ruin my life forever. And I'm happy that I broke all these paradigms and all this idea that people had about me back then. I arrived in US on 2010. I have no idea what was the picture of cannabis in California. Believe it or not, it was not my first pick to learn English. It was not US. My first pick was London. But I have a very great friend from childhood that says that I would, for being a Brazilian, I would hate to be on the weather like London in UK, because it's always cold and forecasted, and I wouldn't last 2 months. And if I really, really want to emerge on English and American culture and do not miss so much in Brazil and get all my goals reached, I should go to California. So I heard him and I'm like, all right, cool. Let's see what's the California about. And I have no idea what it was, California. We're talking about like 2010. That's when I arrived in the United States. In LA, it was a lot of those people with the signs, and dancing with cannabis signs and showing like, come over here, free joint for first time, this and that. There was, let's say, this was even before legalization, before medical, right? They still kind of trying to figure it out, but I have no idea when I arrived what it was that about. And so I am happy that I got the first experience to see the big mason jars of weed, right? And it was incredible. I could like smell them and see them like, oh, I want a one bud of that one, another bud of that one. And I could really make my own fruit salad with all of them. It was fantastic. Couple of years later, I got introduced to Grass Valley, which again, I have no idea that I was arriving to the Greenland, right? The Grass Valley, where all the cannabis was growing, right? I know a little bit about Humboldt, but it's still not a lot of people were talking about. I believe just because of all the stigmas that was behind, and also people trying to just protect themselves, right, from whatever law enforcement that would try to get them. So people are not talking too much about it. So I have arrived over here in Grass Valley, and for my surprise, my 10 plants, which for me was so much, was feeling bad. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have 10 plants. I was like one of the smallest ones, right? I start to meet people and making friends, and my friends have like not only 10, but 50, 100, sometimes 200 plants. I'm like, oh my God, I can even imagine like how do I land it over here? And so my brand back then, I started to already thinking about future, how all of that would be one day legalized, one day that that dream of the backyard, it could become a industry. So thinking about that back then with my ex-partner, we created the Leprechaun Farm. And then years later, in 2016, 17, I would say, I become Ganja housewife, which was much more about my interaction with cannabis, my person with cannabis, and my purpose and my goal to bring the access to the world. Um, all these years, all the information I have been gaining over here with growing, cloning, planting. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know all the process. Get in the dirt, put the dirt in the ground, make sure your dirt, your soil is good, make sure all the pH in the water and all those good stuff. So I learned all that process, and then packaging, right? How to pack, how to cure my plant, how to pack my plant and keep that fresh, and also find my customers, right? Which is still back then all informal businesses, was not a real licensed business. And with that, I start to see a lot, right? I have a degree in event management in Brazil. I also have a degree in arts education, and I played soccer for my college in Brazil, which that's how I got my scholarship to finish college. It was very hard to finish college in Brazil with the high prices, just like here in US. I believe it was always, a thing. I came from a very simple family, which is still, I would say, probably in the last 4 years, I got fully accepted as ganja housewife and working on the cannabis industry for my family in Brazil. It was something that I couldn't talk about on the dinner table. I couldn't say how I was living here, how I was making living. It was always something else, right? Oh, agriculture, but not necessarily talking about cannabis. It was still a very big deal to talk about cannabis in my family. Um, so I learned a lot on my college about marketing, branding, anthropology, people, how um, how to create events, how to connect your brand to make the events that you plan to do more effective to the people you are inviting to. So yeah, enough about me. That's me. Nice to meet you all. I'm stoked to be here. Um, so here goes. I have experience working with cannabis from 2011 into 2017, growing weed. And I say that cannabis chose me. I did not chose cannabis, right? I was always being seen as a um, stoner back then, and I never thought that that would become actually my profession. I'm like, wow, look at me. I am a specialist in cannabis. What does that mean? Right. And it's still sometimes hard to find a way how to explain that. Right. Who am I? Who is Bia Navarro? Who is Ganja Housewife? So I'm married with Ganja. That's it. That's who I am. And that's why I love to work with cannabis. My commitment with cannabis is much more than only making my income. My commitment with cannabis is helping people. It is not only on the medical field, helping them to find what is the best fit for them, but also to protect this plant, this sacred plant, and try to give more of a knowledge, right? And how brands and people can still be connected with the plants, even though we are living on the days that this became a huge industry and so out of hand. Is like it's crazy, right? If people say, "Oh, it grows like weed," I think the weed industry did grow like weed, not like cannabis, but like weed. And it's kind of like, in my own personal perspective, kind of, uh, I would say, out of hand, right? It start to grow in the proportion that it make you feel, if you got into the time that everything was starting, you had a chance, but now if you started, there is no chance. So I want to start over there, that all of that is not true, right? You can start absolutely anything, not only cannabis, but anything that you want to do. You can start at any time and anywhere, or with anything, because yes, the industry is there, but what to make your idea different than others is you. Nobody can be you. You are the only one who can be you. So that's it. With that note, it's never too late. It's never, you can always try to find ways to get out there, if being as big or as small as you are. So branding myself, I start to brand my brand about 13, 14, I would say probably strongly at 12 years ago, when I really, really went out to being Ganja housewife, right? When I see it, so many women just like me, committed to the plants and being married to the cause, not necessarily to their partners, not necessarily to the business of it, but married with the purpose of cannabis. Um, and then with that, I work for a few companies doing events. Today, I have been working for Elevation 2477 for about 7 years, which that's where I really, really learn and dive in into absolutely so many brands, and being in contact with not only brands, but brand reps, customers, right? And my coworkers, my wellness associate coworkers, right? All we're talking about all day is weed and brands and flavors. What do you think about packaging? What we think about what they're missing, and information and all of that. It's pretty fun, and that helps me a lot too on keeping learning every day. Recently, we got last year, has been a year now, that we got into the farmers market in Nevada City. It's a big, big, big deal, because our first ones, this with Elevation 2477, our first booth, we couldn't really sell anything. It was straight up just informative. And, we all know how hard it is for you to build a brand and try to make your income and try to keep selling your product when you're over there with the customer and you say, hey, this is this amazing product that you can get a hold of it, but you got to go to the shop. I cannot give you over here, right? That's a turn off right there. You got the customer, you got the word, you got the sale, but you cannot deliver the product. So we changed that. We changed that. I take this moment to thank you so much for the city of Nevada City, for the police department, for Cannabis Alliance, for the owner and co-owner of Elevation, who really fought strong to get us not only to give a space for the local brands to be at the farmers market, but also to be able to sell products on site. And a whole different perspective, a whole different setup, but we did make it possible. So thank you so much for all these people who are still breaking the barriers of accept cannabis on the county that breathe everyday cannabis. All right. Well, enough of me. Let's go a little bit of brainstorming. I would like you to grab a piece of paper or even your phone, whatever you have in hand. You don't need to share anything. I'm going to put over here on the timer. 30 seconds is plenty. Just very short and sweet, right? Who is your brand? Why did you choose your business name, right? And why did you choose your logo? And what were your intentions when you make that decision? And what is your intention for future, right? So I'm going to put over here on the 30 seconds timer because I really, we're going to catch up with that on the ending of the presentation. So I really want you to get a little more idea what can you do, right? How you, I don't want to leave over here this presentation today with like, this is it, and leave you with a empty hand. I want to leave this presentation with something that you can work with and bring you some ideas and hopes and right, and look into a brighter future. So who is your future? Why did you choose your business name? And why you choose your logo? And what are your intentions? All right, a few more seconds to go. All right. Well, and please, everyone, feel free to put any questions over there on the chat. I will start it with my hi over here so you can see it. And anytime you have any thoughts, just put it over there so that way we don't miss it, the point. And then when we are done, we can go back to it and get all those answers. All right, going back to, hope you put it down. What are you thinking about your brand and all? And now, okay, brand. Bia, what is brand? Brand is a name. Brand, it's a idea of something, right? Definitely includes planning, teamwork, innovation, strategy, technology, marketing, and SEO. So let's think a little bit about this over here, right? So I'm going to start with the first one over here on our left, SEO, which is a search engine optimization. What is that about? So The most common one, Google. That's what it is one search engine, right? Anything that you're searching to for or what, you can use that. These days today, because technology, you can use Chat GPT, or even Grammarly. I have been using Grammarly for a minute now, and they seem very nice and accurate on writing, putting ideas, and all of that. Um, so it's important to like to think over there, right? So think like when you create your brand and you already have brand, you already have your logo, just ask ChatGPT, right? If let me give an example. um, I'm going to put myself on this spot, so I'm going to say, um, ChatGPT, can you please tell me what people would think when they say, "Hi, my name is Bia and I am Ganja housewife," right? They are going to give me a whole thing what people would think when they hear that. And on that, I'm like, oh, maybe I can use something from what they say to work on maybe a little post, or maybe I can make a playful word to work with that, right? Planning. What is branding has to do with planning? Um, so when you look for the name on your company or your farm or your brand, right? Um, I'm pretty sure you have an attachment to that name. However, how is the word means itself, not only on the cannabis industry, right? So that is another thing you can just ask it online, right? Like what is the meaning, or look into a dictionary. I don't know if people use those things anymore, but I love to use that. I i would say probably once a day I use meaning, like what is the meaning of the word, so the way I can find not only the meaning of that but synonyms, right? Synonyms, so I can exchange words and do the playful meaning of words and making a nice post and doing phrases or jokes that would be very interesting and to catch people's eyes, right? On that case, when we talk about media, to catch people clicks. Um, all right, teamwork. What does a brand has to do with teamwork? Absolutely everything, right? So on your company, right? Even if you're a very small company, I'm not talking about huge companies who have more than 30, 40 employees, 50 employees. Let's talk about like the small businesses who have like 5 or maybe 10, right? What does the teamwork has to do with the brand? Absolutely everything, especially if you are a small business. If you are a small business and the people that you have working for you, even if they're just hired for 1 day or 2 days, if they don't see your brand and don't understand your brand, they're not going to talk about your brand. And it's not something bad for you, but it's not something good either, right? So whoever it is, you want people to talk about it. You want people to talk about you, people who know you, to talk about you. So the teamwork comes when your employees or your supplier, right? Or so everyone can be your quote fan, and that's what you want. You want everyone to be your fan, right? So on maybe a cup of coffee over somewhere else's conversation, they are all the way, let's say in San Francisco, and they going to say, "Man, I just watched this thing and like about this girl, Guncha housewife. I don't even know these people, but my name is out there." That's brand, right? That's the teamwork. Whatever they see, whatever they click or they push, they remember to talk about it. And they're talking with someone else that I couldn't reach because it's not from my circle, right? But we're gonna get into that a little bit more forward. Um, Brand innovations. I go back and forth with that. Yes, indeed, it's good to be innovative. However, it's good to be old school as well, right? The vintage era is coming back. Being old school is cool, right? So yeah, being innovative, it's always good, but try to follow what's happening now, right, to the world. Sometimes if you be way too uh, innovative, you might going to get way ahead of your time, and the people that you're trying to reach is not going to get because they are not on that page yet. Don't throw it away, that idea. Put it on your book, like somewhere that is over there, maybe on your calendar 2 months ahead, right? Put in a little note. Oh, hey, tal day, this day I have this idea of doing this, this, and that. And in a couple of months, when you flip that calendar, you're like, oh, maybe now is a good time, to try to implement something like that. And that's when innovation and strategy comes along hand to hand, right? When you think about like strategy, is not only like strategy on um, sales, like your strategy as a business, as a brand, right? Um, so strategy can be looking in so many ways. Strategy can be looking onto uh, the numbers of what you're trying to reach. Your strategy can be in reach out to more people. Your strategy can be on getting out of the ground because you're just getting started on your brand, right? And making that on the timeline, your strategies. And even if that looks way too crazy, like this image we're looking over here, that's how you're supposed to brainstorm, right? Don't try to be too organized on the brainstorm. You brainstorm, and it calls a brainstorm because there reason, right? It has to have some source of things all over the place. So that way from there, it will become the full and it will becomes the idea. Technology, if you are not a technology person, just like me, find someone who is, right? I am very good on connecting with people and talking and giving ideas and all of that. No, I'm not good on making logos. I know I'm not a um, digital artist. So I got someone who can translate my idea. It's like, hey, I'm thinking about this. I want this to look like that. This is who I am. I want to present me. One of people, when they look at that, they're like, oh, I know her. That's when you find the artist, digital artist, who is going to get to that. And on technology world as well, how you're going to get your brand into your packaging or your brand into presentations or your into uh, blogs and an internet on Google search and all of that. This is all technology. There is many tools out there. I can share with you guys later if you're interested, but on you have to know where you're at, right? You have to know what you're capable of. You have to know what you are capable to learn, and also what is like, why, even if I try to learn this, I don't have the passion for that, and someone else is going to do better than me. And we're talking about your brand, your business, which it is part of your life. If it's not half of it, it's pretty close to, right? Is where you're taking your living from. So it's very important to make those decisions. And then we have marketing. And marketing is a whole different monster. Marketing involves so many things, right? Marketing, it's everything from uh, word of mouth, events, products, people, flyers, posts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's so many of them. Sorry, not Twitter anymore. X, all of that. So that would be it on all the brand. All right, let's talk about branding. So what is branding? Branding is deliberate the process of shaping a positive perception of a company, product, service, and the customer's mind through consistent visual elements, messaging, and experiences, creating a unique identity that fosters trust, loyalty, and differentiation from competitors. So, not just a logo, not just a slogan, right? But overall, the reputation, that gut feeling the customer has, built through every interaction with the brand, product, service, culture, and employees. I know it's a lot to think about it. So, brand, it's your logo. Branding is how you're going to make that your visual, right? That thing when people look, even though they might don't know your name, they might don't even remember the name of the company, but they're going to say, oh my gosh, that brand that has like a triangle on 3D, da da da, right? Or, oh no, is that like that brand? You know, again, I'm gonna put myself on the spot. I can't remember her name, but it's like a woman, and then that is like the cannabis leaf and looks something tribal. I can't remember, but they will remember the logo, right? Once they remember the logo, they're gonna talk about it, and they can even type in, right? So that is the beautiful thing about AI these days. If people don't remember your brand, your name of your brand, but they remember your logo, they can type in cannabis company, the logo looks like this, and that. Boom, right there. They're gonna show them. And then once they say, like, oh yeah, that's right. That's that brand that I like. Um, so it's very important to get like to the very bottom of that. Um, so when you're branding your brand, your company, right? You got to think about like how you want the people to see your company, how you want the people to remember your company, right? How about your product? How you want them to remember your product, right? We're talking about like cannabis, right? We're talking about weed. So you want them to open the jar or the bag and remember like, oh, it smells fresh, or you want them to open like, oh, that looks old weed, right? Or oh, I open that and actually on display they look nice, but when I got my flower they did not look nice, they don't have any smell or they don't have any touch, right? How you want them to look to your company, right? Some people, they don't care at all, like literally some people they don't care about what a kind of weed they're having, they only have weed, right? And some people they really care. And even the people who seems like they don't care what kind of weed they have, even when they buy the cheapest eighth we have at the shop and they change a little bit, they will let us know. They're like, hey, the one that I got before this one was better. This one is not that good. Even is the cheapest one, right? So, and this I'm talking about 7 years of bartending, wellness associate, listening to about roughly anywhere between 60 to 100 people a day, right? On the good days. So it is a lot to take in. And this is all like notes that I took through the years. So when you think about the branding too, like so the visual elements on your brand, right? What is going to catch the people's eyes on that brand? Like what is represent you, right? What is the message behind of that, right? What your customer will experience when they see your brand, right? And how are you working on the trust, make having your customer trust your brand? How you what are you doing for they to come back to you, right? We as we say, it's always easy to have the first customer. First customers, they are easy. The second customers could be easy too. How about the third time they come back? How about the 10th time when you get that customer that goes to the shop and if they do not have your brand, they walk away because they are not even willing to experience another brand. They want yours. because you built their loyalty. They trust on you and they want your brand, right? So think about those things. What is your differential? Like what is bringing your customer close to you that is going to always bring them back to you, right? And coming to that, that's when we have the products, services, culture, and employees. It all coming back to that, right? What a cultural thing your brand is bringing, and that cultural thing that you have on your branding, it is bringing a specific customer. If it is, where is your customer? How does your customer look like? Where do they live? Where is their lifestyle? How can I get to them? All right, let's demystify a little bit over here branding and marketing, right? So, branding, the intangible concept representing the overall public perception of the company and products, the why and the what, right? Why am I a cannabis grower and I decide to do a brand? And what is my business? What is it? Do I only do flower? Do I do flower and concentrates? Do I do flower concentrates joints? Do I do flower concentrates joints, infused joints, and pre-pack, multi-pack joints, right? Uh, do I not only do that, but I do shirts and hats? Um, do I do? I mean, you guys got the point, right? So why? Why do I decide to do this? For the love of weed? Sure, we all love weed, but why? Why? Right? So try to meditate on that, and this is like your own personal notes. If you want to share, you're more than happy to get your share. I love to hear stories and give uh, feedbacks and all. But if you don't want to share, is all fine too. But this is your own notes, right? So brand, why and what. So the branding, right? So behind of the brand, that is the branding. After you got your why and your what's, uh, how are we going to design that? How are we going to put that on the packaging? How are we going to make it that tangible, right? The brand is the intangible things. The branding is the tangible things, right? Is the thing that they can touch, they can see it, they can experience. Those ones is the touchable, is the tangible ones, right? How all these physical tools that you're going to use is going to influence the perception of your customers. And then how you're going to get to that, to designing the logo, the packaging, and passing that message, right? And then the marketing, right? The marketing is like when you're going to find your target audience, as I was mentioning before. So uh, the general, let's think like this, right? Your general audience, anybody who smokes weed, anybody who likes weed, boom, that's it. That's a lot of people, right? A lot of people. um but and then we can get a little deeper. So you have that first tier. Who is your general audience? People who love weed, great. Little less general, what is your weed? Is your weed sun-grown? Is your weed depot? Is your weed indoor? Is your weed a specific strain that you only grow that strain? Or your weed is the only one growing in a certain way? Either it is controlling environments, or even is a soil differential, or the things that you use on your farm. Or maybe you're not just a cannabis farm, you have animals as well. You have horses, which you use the manure from your horses to give to your dirt, so the way your dirt is always fresh, right? So all of those things, that is like a sub audience, right? You have the general audience, and then you have the sub audience, and then you have your another sub. So think about like a big circle, the general, and then a little smaller circle inside of that circle would be your medium audience, And then you're going to get a little smaller and a little smaller until you're going to get to that very circle in the middle, which is that person who is want your product no matter what. And if they don't have at the shop they're going to look for the other shop who has your product, because what matters to them, it is your product, right? So that's when it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And then with that, when you've found who is your audience, right? And that's when you're going to start to use your tactics, right? With advertising, promotion, social media, how you're going to drive some sales, right? And so the marketing is like how you're going to promote your why and what, right? You have why you're doing this and what is your business at and how we're going to promote that. And that's when you're going to get your audience, like who is your truly customer. And let's think about this. Your customer is not only the person who goes to the shop to buy your product, but the shop who gets your product in, they are your audience as well, right? So all of those parts, you have to think about it. As I always say over there at Elevation, um, any customer, any person who walks to that door is a possible customer. But Bia, the guy is just looking for the alarm. Doesn't matter. He's looking for the alarm, fixing the light, alarm, whatever. It doesn't mean he cannot smoke weed when he's done working, you know? So that's how I see it. For me, any person who walks in my Instagram is a possible customer, is a future customer, and that day or time, they're just liking my posts. But and then later on, they're like, hey, Bia, I need the help with this. That's it. I got a customer. So just think about that. Everyone who got an interaction with you, with your brand, with your product, they are future customers, and treat them like so. All right. How are we doing over there, guys? I don't see anyone interacting. I hope we're doing good. Right. Well, let's keep on going. Just check here the box. All right. So the key components of a brand. We have the brand identity, the brand image, the brand promise, and the brand equity. They kind of have to work on that chronologic way, because if you try to go too off one or another, they will get confused. And what you do not want, it is your customers confused about who you are, right? You want your customers to know who you are, what you're up to, and what is your purpose to be there, and what they can expect from your product. You don't want them to be confused, like, wait, but I thought you said you're a light depot, but your package says outdoor. What does that mean, right? So make sure all your language it's straight, right? Don't hide it. It is what it is, and we believe and we trust in our product, and that's for Y, B, and Z. That's why we have the best product, right? So brand identity, visible elements created by the company to portray desired image includes the brand name, logo, color scheme, and typography. I guess most of you guys already got into that. And if you're not, this is a great time to start. Think about it, like start to sketch some stuff. And then if you are not that person who do digital work, find the professional who can, right? And get that right, because your identity, it is how people is going to relate to you, and you do not want to have that messed up. If they cannot relate to your brand, they are not going to buy your brand, and then you're not going to get and to achieve the sales that you want to achieve. So pay attention to that. Who are your brand? Who is it? The identity. Brand image, the actual perception of a brand in the mind of the public. which shaped by interactions and experiences, right? So we think about an image, right? When I think about um, Nevada County grown weed, my first image it is some tanning at Yuba River rolling a joint. That's my image, right? Without like thinking too much, just first thing come in my mind. That's it, because that's where I live. That's what people do on their days off, or when they have a little bit time on the day. It's so close that they're like, I'm just gonna do a walk in the river, you know. And so think about that, right? Let's think about how, in the mind of the public you want to reach, what do you want them to see? If the people that you're trying to reach from your product, they are more into um, like zodiac. So how is your logo is going to look like, right? You cannot have like the whole 12 zodiacs in there. It would look like a, a mess. But maybe you can get a whole uh, constellation showing all of them. And maybe you can try to play with that every month, playing a little bit on here or there, right? So just this is just a little idea how you can get to that, like the image of what you want your public to think about you. The promise, right? So you cannot say your products is always fresh if people go to the shelf and they see it got packaged a year ago. You cannot claim that, right? And I understand it's very hard to keep the fresh products when you are the one doing everything. You are the one growing, you are the one curing, you are the one trimming, you are the one packaging, and you are the one distributing. You were the one doing the demos at the shop, right? It's hard to be that one person who do all of that. I get it. I've been there, you know. But if you think that promise that you are planning to give to your customers is not possible at the moment, don't give that promise. It's better to not give a promise than give a promise and do not deliver that promise, because and then uh, your credibility will lower, right, with your customers. And that's when they're like, well, they say it's this, but it's that. So I don't know. I tried them once. I don't want to try it again because they disappoint me. And especially when we're talking about uh, cannabis, which these days it's so much that is an abundance of, you want to be on point with everything. You want to be on point with your brand. You want to be on point with your product. You want to be on point with your promise. Um, you want to be the one that is people like, looking like I can trust. I can trust this brand. I can trust this person. And then we talk about the brand equity. What is the brand equity? The intangible value of the brand, right? So basically, um, I'm pretty sure you all know big companies out there that they don't have to worry anymore about growing a good weed because their brand it's sold, right? Um, and that's what they got to. They got to uh, this niche where they worked very, very hard to get their brand in the people's mind. And now they make more money on their merchandising than their weed because they're not worried about the weed anymore. They already did as much money as they could with the weed they have, and now they are not worried about the quality, right? I'm not going to put anybody on the spot, uh, but I'm pretty sure if you look around, you can find out who they are. I'm not over here to point fingers at anybody, but it's that strategy. Is it their right? Is it their wrong? Is up to them, right? Everyone knows what you want for your business and how you want to grow your business. Do you rather grow like abruptly, crazy in 1 year, and you have people who are never going to remember you, or you want to grow progressively for 4 years and the people are always going to remember you? right? It's up to you. Or maybe you want to be one of these other companies that are like, we're going to give it everything that we can in 1 year, and then we're going to leave the equity of the name, right? Just to have your name over there, people will pay you to have the name of your company. But it's not necessarily about the product you're growing. It's about just the name. So once you reach that brand equity, right? The financial value of your brand, it is on the key right now. So basically, if you do that very well and you got to the point that is like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done. I just want to do something else in my life. You can sell your whole business with that equity that will bring the value for you. And when you started, maybe you would sell your brand for 50,000, but now because it is a good brand, they have followers, and people are really looking, and you have the numbers to show how people are loyal to your brand. Instead of selling your brand for 50,000, you can sell them for 500,000, right? Doesn't that sounds great? For me, sounds amazing. Hopefully, one day you'll get to that. All right. Why branding is important? Because creates recognition, because builds loyalty, because attracts talent and provides direction, right? So basically, recognition, right? We are just one more fish in this big ocean of businesses in cannabis, right? So why branding is important into that? Because once again, if they memorize your logo, even if they don't remember the logo, right, the name of the logo, they will memorize the logo, and they're gonna say, "Oh, the logo looks like this or like that," and then they're gonna look it for it because they want it. And that's what you want to. You don't want to like feel that you're pushing your product or you're forcing your product. You want to feel like, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that you appreciate my product. Right? That's what you want. That's the being genuine to your brand. Being like that connection, right? So branding helps customer recognize and remember your company, product, or service. And a crowded market, which it is the cannabis industry these days, unfortunately, recognition and trust can be a deciding factor in a purchase. So again, make sure that you work on that trust, right? Make sure you have that. And I can talk a little bit about that. Um, though, so recognition and trust, right? Um, Instagram. Everybody loves Instagram. People are on Instagram every day, all day, doing things. Um, do you guys know? This is an interesting fact. Do you know if someone do a comment on your page, and if you just do a like, it's just gonna be over there. But if you comment, just a comment, doesn't have to be a huge thing. So let's say someone says, "Whoa, the last taste I got it from you was fire." And then you answer back, "Thank you so much, bud. I appreciate that." We're gonna, whatever you want to say. That comment that you did, right, is going to bring you a little above of all those logarithms. If you just do a like on the comments, it doesn't do much. But if you comment, if you interact with your public, that's when you're going to start to have traffic. Because not only you responding to that person that comments on your page, but that person, because you responded, the people who follow that person see that she comments, she or he comment on something and will find your brand. So we're talking about reaching that third layer of the customer that is not, it cannot be reached by you. You can try as hard as you can, but it can't. It cannot be reached by you. Why that, Bia? Because they are not in your circle. You're reaching out people outside of your circle. So that's important. I know it takes time. I know it takes a lot of time. I am not good myself on responding, but start on that. It's a simple tool. It takes sometimes a little bit time, but it's worth it just to bring your numbers a little higher. when the people can see you and where they see you. Um, Building loyalty. That's right there. I don't think I have to say much more about it, right? When you have the loyalty of the customers, with you, and again, your customers is not only the people who is purchasing your products at the shop. Your customers are the shop that's getting your product on the shelf, is the bartenders who is selling your product at the shops, right? All of these people, if you build their loyalty with them, that's it. They will have your product out of the door for you, right? So that's very, very important. I always say that to all the people who comes to the shop, all the brands. I'm like, take care of the bartenders, take care of them, take care of them, and you're gonna have your product sold, right? Not only with things, but yeah, maybe a little sample, even if it's a joint, even if it's just a joint. Like, hey, this is our brand new uh, flower that we just harvest. It's not on the shelf yet, but we make sure to make one joint for every single bartender, so you guys have a first hand a chance to try it before the customers. That's it. I soon that product to have at the shop, because you already gave the joint to the bartender. They already smoked. They already tried it. So they are going to sell your bud because they already tried that. And they're like, oh yeah, I tried this. This is fire. This is this. This is that. And ask them feedback. Ask the store feedback, right? Ask the customers feedback. Feedback are very, very important. Very, very important. People don't like to give them, but if you never ask, you're never going to have it. So ask feedback. Um, Attract talent. So what is that coming to place? We're talking about when you're building your company, you're building your brand, you're building a legacy, right? You want people to work for you that they have pleasure working for you. They are not over there to collect a paycheck. They are proud to be there. They wear your brand on their sleeves. They are proud to say, I work for so and so. You know, that's your best propaganda. That's it. That's when you're promoting your brand to a whole different level, right? When a customer hear from an employee of the company how happy they are at your company, you have your promotion right there. That's it. You just promote your product without using a dollar. That's very effective. So when you build that and you have the loyalty and you have all of that, you have people who want to work for you. They will bang at your doors like, please, what do you have that I can work for you? I want to work for your company. I love your company. And that's the people you want to keep, because those ones are the people who is going to sell your product, even when they are off. They're going to sell it when they are not on the clock. And you want that. You really want that. And just to end on the why branding is important, it provides you direction, right? Direction. It will, if you have that clear, right? This is my brand. This is what I do. This is who I am, right? It gives you like the direction where to go next, right? Again, going back on that example, if you are a brand who do a lot of like zodiac signs, or more on the the world, you already have the direction. Like, oh, if I work to this, I can work monthly to talking about this, and then with that, maybe there is another brand which is not cannabis, but it does do the same thing, and try to do a collab, right? Once you have that very clear, very, very clear, you can reach out to other companies who is not necessarily cannabis related, but they can be your partners, because they can see that your vision and your brand and your idea, your mission, it's so close to them, even though they are two different products. And that's when you start to collab, right? And that's when you start to grow bigger on your company. All right. This has come to my favorite part. Don't quit. Do it. It's very easy to get caught up on life. It's very easy to get caught up and, oh, but I don't know how to do this. Oh, I am not good at that. Or, you know, so many things. It's like, we are parents, or if you don't have kids parents, you're pets parents or plants parents, right? We are all taking care of something or somebody. It's easy to get caught up on it and forget about your goals. Like, wait, I have a business. I need to take care of this. So going back to the beginning, I hope you have now something to add to it. Who is your brand? Why did you choose that business name and logo? And reconnect with your brand, right? So your intentions, and fall in love with your brand again. So that's the whole meaningful of this presentation, is try to get you to that point, right? So think about it. Now that we got all these ideas, think again: who is your brand? Why you chose your name and your logo? Um, how you reconnecting with your brand and products and intentions. All right. How to connect others with your brand. So, enough said, people connect with people, right? So, um, if I am not on the heavy metal scene and I don't know anything about heavy metal music or bands, uh, why would I try to sponsor a heavy metal show? I mean, I could. People on the heavy metal might like my weed, but am I connecting with my people? No, I'm not connecting with my people. But maybe, so this is what the catch 22 comes. I'm not connected with the heavy metal band, right? Or scene or music or style. But maybe the singer of that band is passionate about my brand. And he's like, Bia, I will do anything. I just need like this little help with one banner, right? A sponsorship is not necessarily thousands and thousands of dollars, you guys. Sponsorships comes in so many ways. And um, I can help you with that if you need some help in finding ways how to get your brand out there. Uh, Partnerships, sponsorships, they come in so many ways. And a lot of those ways, you actually do not need necessarily the money. Benjamin doesn't need to be involved in that. So it's very interesting. So on that case, for example, so let's say this vocalist of this heavy metal band is passionate and in love with your brand, and they're like, I will do absolutely anything. I just need this banner that I do not have the money to do this banner. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me get your banner. And then he will become actually a partner of your business, a partner of your brand. You'll help him out with a banner for his show. He's going to highly talk about your brand, right, on that show. And also where they can find your products, right? I think for cannabis business is definitely one of the things that I don't see much out there. It is how people can get a hold of your product. They love your product, you did your propaganda, you did this and that, where they can find it, right? So maybe that is something you can put over there in your to-do list. Maybe do a brand on, if you are in NorCal, here's where you can find my weed. If you are in Sacramento, here's where you can find my weed. If you are in San Francisco, here is where you can find my weed, you know? And with that, it's starting to reach out more and more and more people. You cannot expect that the the shops will promote your brand like you would promote your brand. So you got to be the one who do that step. Um, so again, why you are in the business in the first place and why are you still here, right? What did you chose to be and why you is still on that? What is the love behind of that, right? What is your passion? What is your thing? And with that said, that is going to be connecting with your person. So let's say I am a skateboard head and I decide to do my weed company because I always, since I can remember, I was skateboarding and smoking weed. And now I am able to do both. So that's very clear that your public, your number one customer will be your skateboard people. Why? Because you are a skateboard head, because you speak their language, because you know how to make those jokes on your posts, right? And that's how they're going to connect. With that, there is a lot of brands on skate as well. So who are those brands on skate that might you might want to look forward to do a collab? You know what I mean? So I start to reach out to that. Um, so let's see what else. There's so many examples. So going back to the horse, maybe you are passionate about horses, right? And not only grow wheat, but you have horses in your land. So who are these people who are passionate about horses? Where are they? Who are the brands that they use that is not cannabis related, right? All of that can be connected. Once again, to connect people with people. People are going to see like, oh my God, if you look like them, they're going to consume your products because people are very narcissistic. People like to see them in other people. Like, oh, why you like them? Well, because they look just like me, because they like the things that I like, because they consume the things that I consume. They speak like I speak. So I want to consume what they're consuming. So think about that. That's like the most like targeting people to get to connect to your brand. Um, so basically, on that note, your business and you cannot be two different people, right? Your brand and you, it's kind of like connected in a way, right? You cannot be like that skateboard head who is going to try to get to, let's say, something very opposite to um, meditation, megahertz, alchemy thing. They can collab, sure, but and then you were just like getting way too far, trying to reach way too many, right? And the two different things. So your idea of who you are, who your brand you are, and what do you do has to be very concise. Has to be like one shot and in one phrase, they know who you are, what do you do, and what your passion is. And that's when you connect with your customer. Um, all right. Let's see what I got next. This over here is for you guys to think. Again, I don't need any answer or anything. Short and long term strategies. What are your goals for the next 6 months? Right, the next 1 year, or the next 5 years. And this, it can be brand wise, it can be business wise, it can be uh, partnership and collaboration wise, right? And everything like that. And also, it can be something that you're just dreaming of. Okay, so here is the thing: if you don't dream of, how that will become a reality, right? So it's okay to dream about it. Oh, in 5 years, I want to have my weed on the Walk of Fame of weed. It seems like quite of a big stretch, or maybe something quite of hard to reach. So what? It doesn't cost to dream. Dream it up. It's free, you know? Put it over there. 6 months, I want to be like this. 1 year, I want to be like that. 5 years, I want to be like this. How are you going to reach those goals? Meet and reach, right? What are the things that you need to do to get to that? And once again, you just need to write it down, right? Just have that on the paper. Have that somewhere on your office, on your table, or your trimming table, your uh, nutrients board room, whatever it is, somewhere that you can see it, right? That you can look at that like, yeah, I said I'm going to do this. Maybe today's not the day, but tomorrow might be. It might be in a week, it might be in two, it might be in three. It doesn't matter how long it takes, as long as you have that on your face, literally, and look at that and remind yourself. Um, and then, what are your tangible goals that you can reach, and where you at with your business, right? Get the tangible ones and get the ones that's intangible, and put that on a paper. Leave that close to you. Look at that so that way you can find a way to reach out to it. Reaching out new audiences. Um, So looking in short term, long term, and repeat customers. On your guys' cases for growers, I would say your customers. In this case, we're talking about the shops, right? So how are you going to keep those people to order your product? You know, and very important, where you at financially to make that work, right? Because of course, don't put yourself too much out there that you're going to put yourself in the backwards, right? But think about what you have, how you're going to retain them, and how you're going to keep them in the loop. Um, the meaning behind your brand, right? And get that into uh, the products other than cannabis, as I was mentioning before. So for people, maybe in jewelry, maybe with country music, or maybe with people who are into meditation and yoga, or you know, and anything that's meet your brand mission and vision, you know. And what a kind of variety can you offer within your brand? So if it's not just your eighth or your ounce or your half ounce, is there joints? Is that is um, maybe cartridges, right? Or maybe concentrates, or maybe you find a way to have your own merchandising, electronic merchandising, right? Like a pen, or maybe a little dab pen, or maybe a glassware, right, with your logo, with your idea, or something like that. A few more thoughts: success and failures for why brands don't last. Again, because sometimes they just try to get it out of the door right away, not the right way. So keep that in mind. Right away, sure, you can make that happen, but the right way, it will get you like in a longer path. Um, what kind of a content to post on media, right? Social media. And with that, that's what it comes to again. What are your strengths? What do consumers like about your product? Do you use living soil, or maybe you are a beekeeper, or maybe you're into horses, or maybe you are into chickens, or maybe you are into veggie farm, right? Farm to table, or maybe you are into styling and clothes wear, or you know anything like that. Collaborating on posts and reposts from loyal followers. So if you realize you have that follower that every time you post something, they always comment or they always repost, interact with them. Repost their post. Because every time you do that, right, because you are reposting their post that they post about you, you are reaching out their followers that you don't have, because his followers is not in your circle. So you're getting a different circle of people, right? And keep that in mind. People connect with people. And that's it. I guess I went a little over. That's what we expect. Um, Here is my media handle, my website. www.ganjahousewife.com, my email, my Instagram. I'm over here to help you if you need any help with that. Marketing plan, social media positioning, brand building, team building, marketing outreach, motivational speaking, event planning, and personal consultation. Um, I have been working in cannabis for all these years, and I truly, truly appreciate absolutely everything that I have been learning, all the people that I got a chance to meet, and I am over here to keep helping to grow this industry and making that more um, about us, about who we are. I I love Nevada County. I love Cannabis Alliance. I love Elevation 2477, which I have a chance to grow with during the 7 years. And I think we are so blessed to have these companies over here. And all of you, I know few of you, like many of you, you are all so special in your way. And I ask, please find where you at, on your brand. And I know you have it because I know you guys. So I hope this gave you a little bit of a guidance and a little bit of where to go, how to start. And if you have any questions or any inputs, or if you even want to have a talk or a consultation, please let me know. I would love to be with you and open your mind for more and more. Reach out to your customers. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here and the Alliance, um, to give me this space to open up to this subject that can be a little scare, but that's all what I got for today.
Awesome. That was great, Bia. Thank you so much for being here. That was a lot of great information. If anyone needs any help with brand building or marketing plans and outreach, definitely reach out to Bia with the information that she provided. This webinar, like I said, is recorded, so you can refer back to the notes at any time when it's posted in the next couple of days. And we thank you all so much for being here. And thanks again, Bia. This was awesome. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Erin.
Awesome. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.